What's up, everybody? It's Matt Schmidt here, and I'm incredibly excited because this is the first webinar for the physical product system. I am going to go in depth into the course and try to basically take care of some of the issues as much as I possibly can on the things that I've been seeing people have initially. We've gotten customer support tickets, we've gotten questions in the advanced group, we've gotten all these different things. And I want to make sure that I address all of these because, like I was saying before we started this call here today, the most value that I ever got out of courses were the courses that were broken down and elaborated on, and it's in my head, right? All the steps are in my head, but now you're taking them, and I need to make sure they get into your head as well. So that's what we're going to be doing for the next 3 calls. We're going to go over some of the starting points of the course here today. Maybe even do some stuff over the shoulder if I can get some interaction from you guys. But really talk about some of the things that I think are important for you. The course just closed. So we're going to go through some of the things I want you to take action on right now, because I can tell when somebody's taking action and when they're not taking action. There's certain things that I can see inside the members area and some other things that I want to make sure that we're all taking action here on. So that's where I want to begin. I want to go over a couple house cleaning things. The first thing is that if you have questions regarding the purchase of your product, that is my support email. They're not trained Shopify experts. So emailing them about, custom audience pixels or anything like that, that's not gonna be able to get you an answer. And that's pretty much it, right? So there is a members area. So I don't think we can see the other comments. So email them if you have a question regarding something, in your account, or you don't know where the this is in the membership site or something like that. That is what that email is for. So they won't be able to answer anything regarding Shopify. And I say this in the most loving way possible. You guys are trying to be business owners here. So the first initial reaction that you should have when you have questions regarding Shopify setups or something like that is to see if you can quickly Google it for an immediate response. I am a self-taught programmer on 5 different languages. Not that I could do it anymore, but I taught myself 5 different programming languages off of Google. So I know that you can basically figure out anything you want, especially on big platforms that have millions of dollars behind them, like Shopify. So if you have an immediate question, there are free Shopify groups out there. If you're in the advanced group, you can plug something in there, but you should also try to Google as much as you possibly can, because you will get an immediate response off of stuff that is much more tested than somebody's opinion. Okay? So the next thing is the Shopify discount. I want you all to do this immediately, because if you do not set up your store, if you don't want the discount and you want to pay more money, that's perfectly fine. And I don't advise it, but at least set up your store. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in here one more time. It's going to be in the chat box. Hit that link. Now note, it will not update on that page. It is not a common discount for them to have. So you will get a 21-day free trial. 21 days to figure out if this is for you. And then it will have 15% off of your monthly membership. So that's a cost saving. We're running a business here. That's a cost savings for you. Even 15% over time, that's going to add up quite a bit, especially when you get up into the upper echelon of the, my Shopify is $80 a month, and then there's one even above that. So that's going to add up quite a bit. So we want you to take advantage of it. Go there right now. At least sign up for your site, because if you don't start your store, how are you going to make any of this work? So I want to ask some people real quick, be very, very much honest for you, to yourself. Have you started your first store? The new people. Now this doesn't apply. Unfortunately, I wish I could do this. I don't have any of this on my stores. Unfortunately, I can't retroactively apply this. If you have a site and you're running it, you can't do it. That's just the way it is. I'm paying full pricing as well. Now, all my new stores, Yeah. Or my MVP model stores? Yeah, I'm going to do that. Have you started your first store? Seeing a lot of no's. So here's a cool thing too. You can start your store without choosing a niche, because eventually you need to get a domain and plug a domain onto your store. So you can, the first thing I ever do is I'll have like generic, or my business name. My business name is Know Us Online. That's what you see right here. So I have like Know Us Online 1, Know Us Online 2. So that's basically how I start my store up, and then I'll throw a URL at it. Because essentially, if I don't want my nurse nurse store or nurse shopping to be my site, if I eventually want to pivot that account over to something else, because I could take down everything on that account and then start selling something else, and I've done that before too. So go through there and do that. Yep. Cool. There's not an expiration time on the discount. One Shopify account to one store. It is not Shopify is not the only way to go. It is in my opinion, to do what we do here in this course is the best way to go. Yes, you can change the actual store name later. Everything but the like when you go to this link, if you click on that link I just put in there and you go to sign up, then you have to enter a name for your store, and that's why I was saying you can put like something generic, and then you can point a domain at it later with whatever physical product store.com can be pointed to that domain, and then everything, the guts of everything in the store, the logo, the URL, the titles, everything like that can be changed. You don't need to start another store, David, if you have it. I have what do we have now? I have 7 stores. 2 of which are being phased out though, so really it's 5. Whoops. There we go. All right. So that's clear, right? We're pretty good on that. It's a cost saving measure. It gets you in, it's the first step, really. It really should have been the first step I think it is the first step in the videos. You have to have a store, and then to, your niche and everything like that. Now, if you don't have a specific URL, if you put Austin's General Store, you could eventually sell anything you wanted it out of that, right? And that's that URL for URL or name.myshopify.com is what will happen, and then that can be pointed towards anything. It could eventually be pointed towards Austin'sGeneralStore.com. So that second URL can be pointed, it can be changed out. What's important is that you're getting in the motion and in the system as much as possible. Okay, so we are going to go over, making sure that 100% clear on everything else regarding niche selection, everything that we talk about in the initial phases of the course. I wanted to get this out there though, because it's like I'm going to learn how to write, I'm going to learn how to play the piano, right? But if you don't ever have a piano or have access to a piano, how would you ever learn how to play the piano? There's no way around it. ClickFunnels is not free, Norman. I use ClickFunnels as well. It is not free though. It's actually more than Shopify. Trial starts when you sign up. Trackify, in my opinion, is a must. The reason I think it is a must is because it makes it easy on people that I have the technical ability to do what Trackify does because of my programming background, but I don't. I'm lazy. Somebody automated a way for me to save time. That's what I'm going to do. You know what I mean? I had that question, Leland, in the next slide. Shopify is a platform. It's like the Teespring of the physical product world, and that's a bad comparison because it's not essentially. But Shopify allows you to basically have your own store in a matter of minutes, and you really can create, depending on how fast you get at this. Like the first store that I created took me a week to do. The last store that I created took me 2 hours. So you really can get a retail store that pulls you in more money than a retail store, an actual retail store, and a matter up in 2 hours. So, yes, you can change the name of the store. I just said that. Nancy, that is not true. It had a little bit of an issue, but if you go through my link that I put inside the site, you can get Trackify installed. How do I know? I did it literally 30 minutes before this webinar. If you're having audio issues, please hop out and hop back in. Diane, go through the course. All right. Here is that link again for anybody that missed it. That will get you a 21-day free trial, which is plenty of time to figure that out and put this course to action. Well, you're not going to be able to put it to action, but at least get the beginning stages of this, and then you can drive traffic to it once you buy the course. By the way, it's $30. What other business out there could you purchase a McDonald's franchise for $30? No. Yes, I am taping. I'm going to move on, guys. A lot of people are getting random questions out there, so that's not going to help us. So let's focus on everything that I'm talking about, guys. If the question strays off topic, I'm not going to answer it. So the advanced section, if you want to get into the advanced section, we're initially going to close this down. We had a lot of requests for people who bought the front end to go into the advanced portion of it. And that is now possible for you to do. So I want to make sure I do something too. I'm going to give you a sneak peek behind the scenes of the advanced section. You can go to that link and that will get you in. We have nearly 500 people in the advanced section now. Lots of interaction. I'm in there daily, probably hourly, as much as I can be without falling asleep from exhaustion. All right, so here is the advanced section. This is what we got going on in here. If you have any understanding, this is just part of the advanced section. This is the Facebook group. We have lots of, this is something I'm going to address live on the call here today, but we only have 3 of these calls. So the group will stay open forever. So I'll have to be able to do that as much as possible. So we have a question about markup. Guess what's on the next slide? Markup. So here's a Trackify question. And basically, with regards to the name of the store, I have a question. If you're doing a niche store, something related to your niche, see, that's the kind of stuff and the power that you can get inside the group with immediate questions as well. That's where we have access. Because the reason that it's part of the advanced section is that we want to dedicate that much time to it, and so it has to make it business sense. So that is something that you can get as well if you would wish. Okay, so I'll take this link here as well. Whoops. And put that out there for you. Cool. And yes, that question, whoops, I gotta find my window here. That does have the 30-day money-back guarantee as well. Robert, if you do the two questions, I'm not going to be able to do it. Or I don't know what you mean by is there a limitation in doing so? The advanced area, if you don't know what it is or if you have forgotten, the advanced area is an AdWords course by my buddy Demetrius, who's in the group as well, and able to, for people who are starting to implement that, including ourselves. I plug him all the time. We're going to be evolving that because what's it called? Google has made a lot of moves in the last couple of months because they noticed how Facebook is getting very, very powerful. So they've done a lot of moves themselves in order to accommodate for the e-commerce world. The one button upsell thing, remarketing, things like that are coming available on Google as well. So identifying that and the fact that you don't go on Google unless you're buying something. So if you have a successful product on Facebook, you could take it over there and then expand it to buyers, not just people. You can also remarket people who get pixeled on your site. You can remarket them all over the internet now too, which is amazing. So that's the AdWords section. You saw the Facebook group. Then you will also have some outsourcing training, which I'm uploading as much as I possibly can. So we have a couple videos up there, but every time I kind of think of something, I'm putting a video. I'm going to be putting a video up there. I already thought of another thing I'm going to get uploaded soon as well. And then we have the customer service template and the eBay sort tool. So the eBay sort tool is super powerful because it just cuts right to the chase. So watch count, which I suggest has its flaws and its limitations, specifically being the fact that it just is off of people watching the product, not necessarily who is searching for the product. So anybody, a perfect example, anybody that has it, go search for nurse necklace on watch count and then search for nurse necklace on eBay using the sort tool. And you can see the power of the sort tool because you get a bunch of like nursing necklaces for like mothers who are nursing their child versus actual nurse necklaces, which when you get the eBay sort tool, it sorts straight to the nurse necklaces, like the ones you want to sell. Norman asked a great question. Do your intro, growth, maturity, decline phases apply directly to Google AdWords as well? Norman, those are phases. You know where I learned those? Where I worked for Anheuser-Busch when I was selling beer. Like those are MBA taught things that I just applied to Facebook traffic in e-commerce. Like I didn't invent those whatsoever. So, that's something you really need to pay attention to. Kenneth, make sure you're using a browser where it shows the sales. We talked about that in the group. Elizabeth, Elizabeth says eBay no longer shows total sold. I think is what you meant, but that's not true. It's just they're testing out different. One shows popular, the other one shows sold. So you go to either Safari works for me or Firefox or Chrome. One of those, depending on your location, even will work for you. Yeah. So Kenneth, use one of those other two I just mentioned. Amy, it's going to remain open for now. Yeah. Kenneth, talk to me on offline. Make sure you're following her videos too, by the way. All right. That's it for this. I want to move on. Keep everybody actionable. All right. General store versus niche store. Be honest with me. Who on here has thought about this and has probably spent too much time on it? Give me a 1 in the chat box. Be honest. Chris, stay on topic, man. But yes, I do. Yeah, see? This is why these calls are awesome, right? So I got a whole bunch of ones there. So I knew this was a very much uh, thought about topic. And here's the thing: you can have you can have a general store and have very much like little niches underneath, right? But a niche store, the reason that I like the niche store, and I have both. The reason I like the niche store is congruency, right? So good at Facebook is really good at niches. So then I point those because everything on Facebook is about getting social with the people who are like you. So then I push them to my niche store. Then I follow up with my niche store follow up items. So everything's niche. I keep these people in a kind of a vacuum, right? And they just get into my funnel and it's continuing down the line. Everything I hand out, everything I email is a niche store. I've bought something from a general store who blast me with stuff completely unrelated to what I purchased originally. And can you get traction off that? Yes, but not as much as a niche store. So a cool thing that we'll eventually start talking more about in these calls is email sequence follow up, and that's really the last call, because that you don't need to know how to do that until you've done all of this. So the reason that emails work really well for a niche store, obviously, is because everything you blast out is related to that niche, right? So, if it's my nurse store, right? So everything that I do, every touch point of communication, the brand recognition, everything like that is going to be very much centered around niches and on my store. And I want that lifetime value of the customer. They know that, it's the Coke of, everything. Every time you think soda, you think Coke. I want that association eventually with my store and nurses. Does that make sense? You can't really do that with a general store. If you're going the niche store route, I would do a name as close as possible to the niche that you're in. Absolutely. Now, I'm not saying that you couldn't do what? I mean, yeah, you could do that. I mean, Wayne, I think I would, if you're starting off, if you're doing this for the first time, guys, I would do a niche store as well. The reason for that is because it's easier. It's congruent. The messaging is congruent all the way through. It's going to be really hard in my mind for somebody to buy something niche related and then remember the general name. If you can do niche related, it's something that it's another touch point in communication with your potential customer or your customer that relates back to them in some fashion. Everything selling online, Kevin, will work with this model. I use it on ClickFunnels, I use it on Shopify, and I use it for shirts. And if we bring in shirts to the equation, I have probably over $1 million in sales to put proof this method out. But I was just counting the Shopify. Yep, Michael, you do. But the cool thing is it's small replication, right? A niche store, guys, you can make $1 million in a niche store a year. Anybody want to make $1 million in a year? No, David, I can't show you my. David asked a question. Can I take a look at your stores? I feed my family with the money that I generally make from my stores, so I have to keep that in the integrity safe of that as much as possible. Andrew, that is not something I keep count of. That doesn't really matter. Andrew asked, what percentage of my Teespring campaigns are profitable? I don't. That doesn't. The math doesn't favor that, right? I was just launching 5 to 10 per day. and in upwards of 20 to 30 at one point, when I was really doing that. And then, sometimes you have good ones, sometimes you don't have good ones. But if you keep launching, the math is going to work out in your favor. But I'm not going to spend much time on that. Yeah, sometimes, Paul, I understand that. Sometimes I'm doing that on purpose. See, like this one. YKey asks, how many products are needed in a store to make $500 to $1 million? Well, I had one necklace that made me $120,000. So it really depends on the product. You could have one product and make it $1 million. It depends on the product. Now, if you want to do a niche store, it's in your favor to get, large retail items inside that store, and so that you can up that average order value. If you've seen some of the screenshots recently that one of the stores that we're building out, I might be able to grab one now. This is from earlier in the day. This store is a little old. I think it's about a week old. Oh no, half a week old. So a niche store can give you really high average order value, right? That's a pretty solid average order value. So that is the kind of stuff that you get once you build out your niche store. I haven't refreshed that. Let's see how that's doing. So 345 in so far today with 8 sold. So that's the kind of stuff we're looking for. Whoops. That's the kind of stuff that we're looking for. Now, if you have a general store, they might have, no, that's not in profit, guys. That's revenue. That's a Shopify screenshot. I don't know. That's my staff is controlling that. Macy, have you gone through the course? Marcy? She said, how do you determine what type and niche to start? Have you gone through the course? Kurt asked, how much time do you initially devote a week to building your store? As much as it's needed to get my store built. Michael asked the winning ding 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 question. He says, can you easily duplicate a store once you have the custom code in it? So if you have a second niche and you want to roll out a new store, you just keep the custom code. I don't know what you mean by custom code, but you can download everything that you do as far as your theme. If you custom code your theme, you can download that theme, upload it to a new thing. So what we've done, the reason we have so many stores is that I perfected one, or at least made some money from it, downloaded everything, uploaded it to a new one, listed the same typical product, and then started building it out in a very similar, scalable fashion. So lots of people are familiar with doing this in the t-shirt world. I took that concept and applied it to the Shopify world, where it's just the entire store, the look and the feel of the entire store gets duplicated. Does that make sense? I went to your site and did not find a course, but what does that mean? Stay on topic, Norman. All right. Mike, I'm going to do it the way I'm doing it, man. All right. So niche store versus general store. If you're starting out, niche store. General store is really fun for testing products. So what I've done is general store equals testing ground. So I can have a bunch of little items that I want to throw up there. And then if it goes really well for me, I can take that item and apply it to a new store. And I build a store around that niche that I now have understanding of the audience. I have sales. I have, proven ROI on the product. I have everything I need to do to prove and a reason for me to have a lead item on its own store. And then you might say, well, if you sell it, why would you ever stop selling it? You can get it up and almost seamlessly transition over to selling it on this niche store without really confusing anybody, because the buyers have already bought and the people that you're going to reach can do that as well. So does that make sense? We want to make sure that we're being as efficient as possible. So a general store is your testing ground. If you want to sell physical products, list it on a general store and then build a niche store around it. That is like a step 2 kind of thing. Right now, you should pick a niche and get it up and going and start making yourself money. A general store is not going to make you money long term. It's basically there for you to create more niche stores down the road. I would get a niche store up and start perfecting that as quickly as possible. Okay? No generic. Everybody, again, if you're doing a niche store, URL needs to be specific. It's one more touch point for you to hit your customer in a correct fashion, in a congruent fashion. So a brand, think about brand recognition. Would you ever want, if you sold niche stuff, would you want it to say Amy's store? Like, how are they going to remember that? Right? You have to think about this. You're marketers. Think something up that's cute and funny and it's memorable. And that's going to help you in the long term. All right. So markup. Anybody confused about markup? Give me a 2 in the chat box. Wilton asked a real cool question. Give me your 2s. But Wilton asked, if we're just starting and aren't sure about our niches, could we do a general store anyway for testing and then build a niche store? What I would do, Wilton, is do what I was saying with the URL, have that be generic, the url.myshopify.com. That's when you initially name your store. You will get a myshopify.com URL. So you're just a subdomain of myshopify.com. And so what you can do then is say, test your niche store out. And if it fails, then you can do something else. But remember, the store that you build, the store that you sign up for today can be changed. All the guts can be changed. And you can go into a new niche. But you're never going to know unless you start doing this. And don't get hung up on this very, very small aspect of the overall picture. Lots of 2s here. So what I want to do is address one of the big stuff. Yeah, exactly, Jeff. What you can do here with the markup is understand that you have costs. So when you're thinking about your markup, say it's a $3 necklace on AliExpress. How much do I sell it for? Go find a similar product as much as close as possible, because I guarantee you there's not one. I mean, if you have a genuinely unique item, you can charge whatever you want for it, because then they can't get anything else. They can't get it elsewhere, right? If you've created something, then you are able to charge what the market is willing to pay, which you go out there and find it. If you're selling something off of eBay or AliExpress, guess what? You don't have a unique item. So go out there and find something where it's sold somewhere else and try to be around that same price. Now, the question is, why would somebody buy from me, this little Joe Schmo, instead of eBay or Amazon? A, don't underestimate the power of impulse. And B, don't underestimate how lazy people are. So the first thought in a customer's mind is not that they're going to buy this from AliExpress. Okay? The markup, everybody's asking, what markup do you have? The markup is you here's the thing. The markup is you charge as much as the upper echelon of what people are willing to pay. So remember that, did you guys see the conversion rate video that I had and I put out? So optimizing your conversion rate, I'm going to make sure I put that into the group, into the membership area. But basically, you want to focus on selling for that optimal conversion rate. Now, don't be crazy. Like, I can't tell you how many people, one of the guys is a buddy of mine. He has sold a shirt pretty successfully at, he was selling it at $24.95, and he was getting like a 5% conversion rate. And that's not that great of a number in the long scheme of things. For a shirt, it's not bad. But I told him, I was like, just try selling it at $22.95. And he started selling it at $22.95, right? And he started selling it at a 13% conversion rate. So do you know the difference in how effective the cost savings were for him, how much more effective his ad was, and how much more effective the conversions on his traffic were because of that slight price adjustment? Now, people were willing to pay for $24.95, but $22.95 got him a huge boost in that conversion rate. Now, that's going to vary from shirt to shirt. There might be some shirts you get a 13% conversion rate on $24.95. So testing, yes, Carl said it great. Testing determines conversion rate. So here's what I do, guys. Markup is find your competition because it exists. Guys, we're selling stuff that is readily available in the world. It might be unique, or you might take an existing product and make a unique angle on it, like I told you to do. But find your competition, whoever's out there, a like item or the same item. Test traffic at that price point to see what you get, considering that you're taking all of your cost into account, right? If I buy something for $3 and I try to sell it for $9.95, but I can't convert for that $6.95 or below, then that product needs to be adjusted in some fashion, right? So I'm talking about testing traffic at that price point to see what you get, and then optimize your conversion rate. Now, what do you do here? If you have a low conversion rate, start dropping the price. Even $1 you will be amazed how much effective boost you can get in your conversion rate by just simply taking $1 off of something. Have you guys watched the video on where I did the pricing adjustment all the way down, right? Give me a 1 in the chat box. You guys watch that video? Yes, Bryant. You do this on all products because trust me, guys, this happens to you and you don't even know it when you buy stuff online. So the competition here, guys, is this product is listed elsewhere. That's why I talk about being as congruent as possible. Does everybody understand that? If you make it a seamless transition as much as possible, people will buy from you out of impulse. That's what we're doing on Facebook. To be an effective Facebook marketer, you need to make sure that you are getting as much impulse as possible. I'm referring to the video about the $9.95 product that I ran a ton of traffic to, and I would have killed it if I had done, it's in the decline stage, right? So in the decline stage, a necklace was going down pretty quickly. It was kind of like a t-shirt, but what I found out is I was charging too much money for it. So when I started dropping the pricing for it, I got a really good conversion rate right off the bat. But I grabbed all those people that were willing to buy at $9.95, and then I started dropping the price on it, and I was grabbing people at different price points. Bo, I don't know, man. You're gonna have to hit up my support because I don't know how you're in this call and you only have 2 videos. Joy, Joy brings up a good point. The real competition in this world for us is Amazon. So the reason that you're able to beat out Amazon and the reason that people do it all the time when they're starting off is that impulse purchase, right? Yes, there's going to be a recording of this and it's put into the membership site. Save the questions with exact competition or exact questions like that, Kenneth, for the end of the call. Drop price. So here's a good question by Larry here. Markup, when I'm testing and dropping my price, or I'm testing that price point out, what am I actually doing? I'm actually just adjusting the price on Shopify. That's one of the beauty of Shopify, is that I have full control over my business. If anybody on here is a Teespring seller like me, then they know that you couldn't do that. Now, I think there's some platforms that may allow you to do that now, or coming close for allowing you to do that. I think Viral Style allows you to do that, and possibly Gear Bubble, if I'm not mistaken. However, that's a key aspect of your business that you need to be able to have control of, is your price. Because you can do that with the t-shirt world, but you have to do it in a completely new campaign. That's why I like having redirects, so I can immediately redirect to a new campaign. Is it a good idea to have a Shopify store right in a page? No, just do it the way we're showing you, man. I can't answer that question because I've never done it before. Amalia asked a great question. When you drop the price, wouldn't old buyers who bought for a higher price complain? Who buys something and then comes back to it later on to check out the price? You know, one of the craziest things too is that now that I have control of my customer support, and the things that you guys will eventually see, is that people sometimes even forget what they bought or where they bought it from. I've had people complain to me about a product that I didn't even sell them. Yeah. And somebody be like, well, I thought I bought this from you. Well, you didn't, so I can't help you. Would you like to buy something else from me? So that's the kind of understanding that you got to have, is that no one's going to come back to check it out, right? And we're buying stuff off of impulse. Now, guys, this isn't a bad thing. I'm not telling you something bad. Price point optimization is something that companies do all the time. You know, I come from the beer industry. They have a little bit more capability for growth and control over why they do what they do. So one of the biggest understandings that I know about, where I got to understand price and how important price is that if you go to pick up beer, or you go to a beer aisle and you see all these different prices, you know, yeah, okay, so it is different tastes, and I understand that, right? But one of the biggest aspects people don't realize is that the reason that there are so many different brands that are really not off that, you know, all that far off from each other, is there's literally people that will go into a store and they will buy a six-pack for $6.99, but they won't buy a six-pack for $7.99 because they are price point sensitive. So the main objective for you when you're starting off and you're getting this product is to suck up as many people at the highest price point possible by doing this price point optimization, pricing the same amount as your competitors, because your competitors have already price point optimized, or probably price point optimized. If you ever notice on Amazon, if you do Amazon research and you see a product and you know that it's the best seller, you watch its price and then watch it compared to the other ones, and then come back like 2 weeks later and see if those other competitors aren't priced very similar to the guy that was leading. I've seen that happen over and over and over again, where a guy who starts leading the pack has it priced it a certain way, and then the competition will price to match. It's a barrier for people. It's a huge barrier for people. It's almost the biggest barrier for people in some regards. Well, here's the thing. Larry says easier to go down in price than up in price. Not really. I would go as high as possible and then work our way down, just because a guy that's going to buy it at $9.95 will also buy it at $7.95. But that's $2 that you miss there. So if you started off at $7.95 with the intention of testing out higher traffic or higher price point for your traffic, then you're going to have a missed opportunity and missed revenue, and I don't want you doing that. Does that make sense? Give me a yes in the chat box if that makes sense. Awesome. So when you're pushing people to the site like we are, and you're spending money, it's the most important thing for you to do is to maximize that profit, or maximize that traffic and that, you know, what you're getting there. Another thing I wanted to shoot. Yeah, companies run sales all the time, and that's a lot of what I was talking about in. It was in one of the videos. I can't remember exactly which one of it was, but you're a marketer. You get to make sales up. You get to create the sales. Do not put it on sale. Drop the actual price. The coupon is not, that's not a legitimate price point optimization. We're looking for the lead item to have a price point that's optimized for you to sell that, not via coupon. So Lorna wants me to repeat it. So basically what I'm saying is that when you're price point optimized, you want to start as high as your competition is. You don't want to be, the one thing you really don't want to be is 2 times the guy on eBay, right? Or, you know, 3 times, 4 times, or X the guy on eBay. You want to manage competition as much as possible for your retail items. So what you want to do after that is start at the competition level, see if you can do it. If you can't push traffic and make it cost effective, start stepping stone your way down. See if you can get sales. Once you have a great conversion rate and you're making good ROI on your traffic, then run it as hard as possible as you can. Go through the growth stage, go through everything, and then take down, you know, as you go into the maturity and as you go into the decline. But you have to get yourself there first. And you want to start high because somebody, like I said, somebody will come in to the store if you have a product listed for $7.95 and they would have bought it at $9.95 or $10.95. That's a missed opportunity for your business. Okay? The competition, you find the competition on the big sites. Amazon or Google Shopping, well, is it an enormous way or an easy way for you to do it? Google Shopping, Amazon, eBay. Search for it the same way that you probably found it. Right? You found it by searching nurse necklace. So now you're going to do that same thing on other sites to find the same thing, because I guarantee it's there. Lynn asks a great question. Thank you. Is shipping also price point sensitive? Abso-freaking-lutely. If you don't believe me, you know, sell a $5 product and charge $15 in shipping and see if that completion of that product happens. Yes, price. I've done the exact same method for the price step down on free plus shipping. David, you won't be able to like track how many you lost, but you could basically assume by testing the 2 price points and seeing the difference in conversion rate. So one of the items I've had an item in the past have like a 7% conversion rate. It was a retail item. I think I was selling it for like 17, 18 bucks. And I had a 7% conversion rate on it. And I pushed the price point up to the mid 20s. And guess what my conversion rate was? 7%. That's funny, Carl. I definitely do free plus shipping. Here's where I differ from everybody else. You guys ready for this? Are you guys interested in free plus shipping? Give me a 1 in the chat box. Do you guys know that free plus shipping is a tactic that nobody that is preaching e-commerce to you made up? Do you guys know that's been around for a very, very long time? And it is perfectly, before that, Larry, they used to have it in the newspapers when my dad was growing up. My dad's 65. Yeah, I think Peter, I think you're on point. The Sears catalog might have been it. So, free plus shipping. How am I different than everybody else? Number one, I don't do freaking trademark infringement. I'm here to help you create a business. Ripping people off is not a way to do that. Guess what happens when you start selling lots of money and you have proof behind your physical ability to sell physical products? Yeah, what's a Sears? That's funny. Stick on point, guys. Starting to see some weird questions. So if you start selling, if I go to somebody and I've already done this, I now sell multiple branded items. I have the licensing, or I made a deal to be able to promote brand. One of the stores that I'm creating, and one of the ClickFunnels things that I have is legal. I have the licensing basically behind selling these items. The reason I was able to do that is because I've sold a ton of, over $1 million worth of physical products in my life. So you do not, like, infringing on somebody's rights, or some kind of copyright infringement is not going to get you anywhere. It's not going to get you very far, and it's going to basically almost automatically stunt your growth as a business, because it's not a long-term strategy. There's so many opportunities for you and so many niches for you to sell in that you don't have to mess around with that crap. Okay? So free plus shipping. Free plus shipping is fine. But do as I say in the course and set the expectations for your customers. Tell them it's going to take a long time. Tell them, straight up, or don't overcharge for whatever item you're selling. If you're selling a piece of crap necklace, don't sell it for $9.95 shipping and handling, or $14.95 shipping and handling. Use it for it's called newbies, Colin. And it's perfectly fine. We're helping everybody here. So basically what you want to do is charge a fair amount. If you can squeeze a little profit out of it, that's great. But it's really a sales tactic to get people into your store. And then guess what? We have a niche store where there's tons of items being sold that relate to me. So I come in here for a free item. I know it's free. The cost for me as the business is like $1 for the necklace, right? Or I'll sell it for the cost of the necklace plus what it takes me to convert. Maybe you squeeze a little bit of margin in there. So then they come into the store and say they buy a t-shirt plus the necklace. Well, now I'm going to give them the necklace for free because it only costs me $1, or it costs me $2. But my shirt has $15 baked in margin. I will gladly be able to convert somebody for the price of the free plus shipping offer, which always converts very, very low, hopefully below $1. So I'm basically converting somebody for a free plus shipping offer, but I'm converting them with something that makes me $14. Does that make sense? Give me a yes in the chat box. Do you guys see the real way of using free plus shipping to your advantage? No, I'll give them. I don't charge shipping on the shirt. If I do, it's very small because I'm typically baking in anything that. I'm gonna tell you a little trade secret too, guys. Anytime you see free shipping on an item, you do know that the price of the shipping is baked into the product, right? Give me a 2 in the chat box if you understood that. Nothing's free in this world. So my question to you, to people that think that free plus shipping is a scammy offer, my question to you is: free shipping a scammy offer then too? You would be surprised. Some of you are like, yes, Captain Obvious. Some people, you would be surprised that don't understand that free shipping is just as much of a marketing tactic as free plus shipping. It's just marketing. It's just good marketing. If I tell you it's an end of the year discount special, is that a bad marketing tactic? No, I made it up. It's all about perception. Absolutely. Cool. So I want to make sure that that's understood. So can you make money off of free plus shipping? Yes. Is that the end goal? No. I do like you guys starting with free plus shipping, if that's cool. I do recommend that a free plus shipping offer is a cool way for you to get a little bit of margin, get sales coming in your store, get jacked up about it, know that, hone in on your targeting, and then load a couple designs, a couple shirts or something using T-Launch or, one of those other guys. Get some sales going, get some jazzed up, and then what you can do. So I've sold a lot of products. I don't know what the number of the products, over 10,000 products to individual people in my nurse store, right? So now I can download those emails and then upload them to Facebook. Now I have all these people in a remarketing list. I have of just straight buyers, right? That's more powerful than the just clickers. I can take a lookalike audience off of them. I can do all these different things. Yep, buyers are king. Tracy asked a great question. Do you recommend using a certain type of bridge page to promote free plus shipping? No, I recommend you doing the MVP model. The MVP model is 100% designed around being successful with a low priced lead page type giveaway. But you're a store, so you're basically getting a good relation with your customer right off the bat and getting your stores rolling in, and they have a lot of trust for you for down the road. The reason that the MVP model differs from, say, a lead page or a bridge page or a squeeze page, whatever you want to call it, is because it adds in that little extra trust factor for down the road, making sure that people have, oh, that's Marty's store, right? That's Marty's store. That's a great thing. I'm gonna come back here later. I'm gonna look out for that. And guess what? If I follow up with an email from Marty's store, they'll start to have the brand recognition. So the problem with free plus shipping that I've seen out in the market is that it is scammy if it's done wrong. And it's kind of why we can't have nice things in this world. So because you'll have a guy that has a store full of free plus shipping offers and have no explanation of why everything in his freaking store is free. And then, he might be making some sales, but he's leaving a lot of money on the table. And that's not cool. And he looks really scammy. And so he ruins it for everybody else. Because I think that those people I think it's scammy. And Facebook is so easy for people to give you feedback now that they will get hit with scammy feedback too. So the way to do it in the right way, guys, is to set the expectations for the product 100% clear. Don't overcharge. Set a fair price point. Cover your costs. So again, I ran through these costs before in the course. So if it's a $1 necklace and it costs me $1.80 to get it to the customer, call it $3. I'll charge maybe $5.95 or $4.95, whatever I can convert that, plus a little bit of margin because I got bills to pay, right? I got staff. So I'm not in the business of just giving stuff away for free when I can help it. Explain it on your sales page, the page that they land on. Explain it on the shipping policy page that I tell you to create, and create it and say it on your receipt. It's going to take 3 to 4 weeks for you to get this item because you're not keeping inventory. Explain that it comes from China. We had a question in the advanced group about that too. Do people care that it comes from China? Well, first of all, everything comes from China. I got a bunch of crap in this room. I'm going to look around, and I guarantee you the MacBook, besides the MacBook that I'm looking at, everything else is pretty much from China. And that's fine. They are going to get it delivered with Chinese writing on it. So what we say, guess what we say? It's a magic word. or phrase. So we explain to them that it's coming directly from their manufacturer, our manufacturer. Well, Kurt, I thought MacBooks were created in America now, or I thought Apple did that. So we tell them it comes straight from our manufacturer, to expect that in the packaging, because it saves us a cost. There's no middleman, there's no fulfillment house, there's nothing in between that raises the item. We can give this item away for free, plus shipping and handling, because of this issue, because of this fact. We ship it direct. Yeah, you're able to offer it at the best price. Yeah, you guys want the, yeah, sure. There you go. You could probably clean that up a little bit. I don't remember exactly what mine says, but I think it's better than that. I mentioned this on the shipping policy page, and my receipt. Sorry, shipping policy page and receipt. I don't put it on the sales page just because it's a lot of wordy text, and it just clogs up. And I want the buy button to be the number one thing, right? So there is the intention of being 100% clear to your customers, but then there's also, I'm selfish and I want to make sure that if somebody complains about it, I can say, hey, we explain this on our shipping policy page, right? Doesn't that make sense? Do you guys see the power in that? Give me a 1 in the chat box. Yeah. So a lot of this, guys, is about defending yourself. I get a lot of when I've taught this before, if I've talked to other people, my peers and stuff like that, they're like, "Oh, you're so transparent with your customers, and you're afraid of having that conversion rate dip." Well, yeah, maybe a little bit. If you state 3 to 4 weeks on your sales page, it's going to take 3 to 4 weeks. I've noticed a slight dip in my conversion rate, but in the long run of things, if I don't do that, if I don't explain it, the costs and the headache that come from when people think they're getting something like Amazon Primed, when they're really getting in 3 to 4 weeks, having to staff multiple people to just answer those emails alone, is more of a cost than I'll get from that conversion rate. Does that make sense? Yeah. So if somebody hits my pay, or here's the best scenario, and as marketers, you're going to get this, right? And this is like the biggest headache for me in the world. And I almost took pride in it for a little bit, responding to it. So somebody will hit my page up and I'll go, I bought something from this site 1 week ago and I still don't have it. And then I'll reply with, well, sir or ma'am, we explain on our sales page, our shipping policy page, and on our receipt that it takes 3 to 4 weeks for us to deliver that item to you. Now, I see your order in the system, and it's only been 1 week since you purchased it. And normally, people have no idea when they ordered something, too, which is weird. They'll say it's been 1 week, and then it'll actually only have been like 2 days. I digress. But I am able to fire back at those people, and that's proof for the legitimacy of your business. A real business is fully transparent. So when other customers come and they see that post, they're like, oh, they not only did they answer, but they were being honest. So that is something that you can really have. I have a question about my staff. So my staff is I have I don't know what an FT is. I have I have two customer service agents now. Sorry, I have one customer service agent that manages the stores with a little bit of help to the person that manages the business that you guys are dealing with now. So I actually have three different entities. I actually created a business today, my third business. So there are two different entities, but I have two customer service reps, and I actually have a third kind of on part time. But they handle managing the page, the messages of the page, just as I showed you in the outsourcing videos. If you're in the advanced group, the messages of the page, the post to the page, the site live chat, the email support, and we're gonna get phone chat support here soon too. And then I have lots of different. Apparently I'm the only one that didn't know what FT is. But yes, full time. I only do one. I would only do and only suggest one free plus shipping offer at a time, or we'll put it this way: one free plus shipping offer per niche. Yeah, it's really be on this side of the things for a little bit, Andrew, when you're answering uh, over 500 people's different emails or different messages. So yeah, I'm scattered about. Yeah, guys, Don brings up a great point. 8 to 12 weeks delivery for some items. I bought something. I did a big donation for I forget the charity, but Robert Downey Jr. told me to donate something, so I did, and I got a Iron Man shirt, and it took him like 8 weeks for a T-shirt. Yeah, the main thing about the free plus shipping, guys, is that you want to be conscious of the fact that if somebody comes in and has 9 different free plus shipping offers, they might impulse purchase 9 different things. Now, if you allow them to do up to 3 each, guess what happens? Then you have 27 free plus shipping offers. Now, what's their shipping rate going to be? It's going to be $7,000, and they're not going to purchase. Mary asked a great question. In the resource tab, you will find a fulfillment video, and that'll kind of answer what questions you have there. Basically, what you're doing is you're starting off small, buying off one item at a time, and then you're going to work your way up. And this is with anything, retail item, free plus shipping item, whatever. What you want to do is basically start small, like one-off purchases. I'll even break even by buying it off of eBay if I have to, just to understand if I can sell it. Then once I can get a good amount of sales in every couple of days, depending on how many sales are coming in and what I'm selling, I will cut a purchase order or PO. See, I should have said PO first to see if Andrew knew what that was. But then what we're going to do is have a purchase order sent over to the AliExpress buyer, and the AliExpress buyer is going to drop ship those. Now, you can do that on a free plus shipping item. You can do that on a bigger item. You just have to work with the supplier and communicate with them. And then Alibaba is your next step when you're ordering in real bulk or a fulfillment agent. I actually have a rep in China that I just Skype and say, can you fulfill this? He goes and buys it. And then I just have him send it to my fulfillment house, which is Ship and Grow that I recommend in the course. And then they ship it out. So in the grand scheme of things, in the grand scheme of things, once you get to the fulfillment stage and you do buy in bulk and you start carrying inventory, now I show you a different kind of forecasting model where you really don't have to have that much inventory and you kind of protect yourself. But what you're doing is essentially trying to reduce your costs and speed things up for delivery to your customers. Now, I buy stuff in bulk that takes 5 days to get to the fulfillment house, and then my fulfillment house takes 2 to 6 days, I think is their quote, for a certain type of shipping. So then it's there in potentially 7 to 11 days, which isn't that bad for a small business, right? I'm not trying to compete with Amazon on shipping. But if I can do that in a fashion where I'm shipping something and getting there quicker, like 11 actual days, not 4, business weeks, which is really what, be careful. AliExpress, they say 3 to 4 weeks, but they really mean is business weeks. Like their mail does not move on the weekend. Dennis, PM me after this, because that's shouldn't be the case. Hey guys, and if you have, here's the thing too. Most of the time when I get a message saying, "Hey, I haven't heard back from you," if you have like your own domain with your email, like email at your own domain, Hotmail or Yahoo, for whatever reason, it goes to the spam folder. So just look in there as well. If sourcing from AliExpress, many vendors offer e-packet shipping, which costs about $1.70. It delivers in 5 to 15 days. That's a in quotation I've found. 5 to 15 days really means 15 to 20 days. Yeah, Lisa, we've done quite a bit of that. Joe, I don't understand your question. Custom T designs, I recommend you installing the T-Launch app if you're just getting started. Yes, you can drop ship from China. That's what we've been describing. That's what e-packet shipping is. You send them a CSV file and they fulfill that. I only do the money back guarantee on items that I can truly return. So on a giveaway necklace, I just send them another necklace, or I just tell them to hold on to the product, and because you're really at the rate that it goes, it's gonna be too much of a hassle for you to try to bring all of that back. No, like a retail item, I tell them to ship that back, and once I get that back, then you can have your money back. That's kind of how that works. No company just refunds you and then hopes that you send the product back. Carlos, that is highly dependent. Carlos asks, Matt, if someone buys 2 items from our store, can we ask AliExpress to package both items in a single package? Carlos, that depends if you're actually buying it from the same person. AliExpress is not one supplier. AliExpress is a connection point for suppliers. Yes, there will be a replay in the members area. All right. So the fundamentals. I want to go step into this part of the course to answer any of the questions that pertain to the individual section. I only have about 30 more minutes with you on this call. So we're going to keep this moving and we're going to keep it focused. So if you have any other questions on the fundamentals, now press QQQ and then ask your question. That direct from manufacturer wording goes on your shipping policy page. And if you install the Receiptful app, like I asked you, that'll allow you to do the wording in the receipt as well. QQQ, then your message, not just QQQ. There we go. Some people did it. Do you recommend listing the shipping price up front on the post? No. Never put your price on your ad. Never. I don't care if it's, and the only thing that you'd ever put on there is if you're doing a free plus shipping, you say free plus shipping. Free just pay shipping is really the wording you should use. What do you do if there seems to be close to no competition in an interest, but lots of fans for a bunch of different targets in that niche? In other words, there are literally 50 plus people things you could target related to a niche. However, it doesn't seem that anyone else is selling in this niche. Leland, I'd be really skeptical about that. Here's the truth of Facebook marketing: is you shouldn't be the first person in any niche, because there's people out here that have been doing it for a long time. So I actually look for niches with competition, because I know that if there's competition, then there's buyers. Do you find that you have many PayPal chargeback or disputes? I don't even use PayPal in my stores. I recommend that you do when you start, but once you start getting to volume, people dispute everything, and it's really not great for business. Now, that's my individual choice. When you're starting off, you should definitely do PayPal because it helps you have instant money. Dennis, what are you talking about? Stripe is the Shopify payment session. I love Shopify, the Shopify payment. It converts very, very well. Amazon payments are something that's coming out right now too. That's very cool. I like that a lot as well. Still don't know what you're talking about, Dennis. 15% discount available for any plan or just the basic Shopify? It's the any plan that's available on the online store, right? So a lot of people got confused. They're like, "Oh, Shopify's only $9.95 or $9.99." That's without an online aspect to it, online store aspect to it. So it's actually $29.99 normal price, and you take 15% off that. But you can get the other upsell one. I recommend if you're just starting off, just get the basic plan, and then you can upsell into the next one later. What do you do about an invoice when it comes from China? So they should not. You tell your supplier not to put in an invoice and or a receipt in the individual thing that's coming from China, because you've already emailed them a receipt when you install the Receiptful app, right? You should start with one product. Follow the MVP model. Will the same problem still be present long shipping times when items are purchased as they are when they're given for free? No, a retail item, depending on what you're selling, a retail item might have a better shipping rate that you can charge or you can pay for, right? So bigger items, especially, they can have a better shipping because you can justify adding and increasing the steps above ePacket in terms of shipping. So just look for what's available. Also, things that are bigger tend to have already somebody's moved them over here. So always try to look for something in the United States too that has the item already there for you to sell if you're trying to sell something retail. Your first place really should be just hitting Google Shopping and trying to find some kind of a site here in the States where the inventory is already here. Michael, you can do it either way. He says, do you recommend starting with jewelry before getting into shirts? You can do it either way. I recommend that you start with a free plus shipping item if you're brand new at Facebook marketing, just because it's really, really easy for you to learn and it's going to get you jazzed up and show you that you can make sales and money online. So I recommend that you start. Jewelry is a great item for the free plus shipping item level, just because jewelry actually isn't that expensive. They have a huge markup in jewelry. The stuff that you buy in Zales has been marked up incredibly high. So that's you're basically using that concept for you in your advantage, because jewelry, because of people like Zales, have conveyed a conception that jewelry is expensive. Let me get a drink of water. When it's in terms, it's not. I do sell on Gear Bubble. Someone, do you ever source from Gear Bubble? I need to get with Don. Don's a friend of mine. I need to get it linked in. We have one site that we're trying to integrate Gear Bubble necklaces and bracelets and things. Not in the we're in the fundamental stage right now, guys. That's where you should start, Lorna. Michael, no, I don't. I'm not gonna get that into people's heads. How do you deal with high risk orders? I don't process them. We email the person asking them to confirm all the information. If they do confirm it, then we fulfill it, and we do not fulfill it until it's confirmed. And we'll cancel it after, like a 2-week period. Shopify payment is Stripe, guys. If you notice, it says powered by Stripe. You can use any of those guys. I just don't like PayPal, because PayPal, for me, I'll have an item, like we sell retail items, where somebody will go and order a dispute, or open a dispute, because there are people out there that will receive the item and then try to get their money back. Or they'll say, hey, I'm just using this as my help desk. This isn't the help desk, right? PayPal is not a help desk. They'll open a dispute and say, hey, I'm just checking on my item. I bought it yesterday and I'm trying to check on it. And it's like, well, I have a support desk for this reason. But now my money's tied up. And if they don't close the dispute, they might win in PayPal's favor, or in the customer's favor, and then I'll lose the money and ship the item. But that only happens when you're selling at a loss. That's a very small percentage, and only really happens when you're selling thousands and thousands of items. I would still do PayPal right off the bat, specifically if you need cash flow help. Do you use your own merchant account on any of your stores? Anton, what does that mean? Rob asked, so don't use PayPal when you get bigger. That's just a personal choice. I know people that still do it. I can tell you that free plus shipping, if you don't input the tracking number, PayPal will get very, very upset with you. Themes, a good thing for you to start. Everybody need a theme? Give me a 1 in the chat box. A free theme. Sweet. So in the store, the Shopify theme store, the Brooklyn theme is a great theme, converts very well, and it's a great starting point for you. So you can go look that up and install that. Make it look good, because it takes a little bit of work, but it's a good converter for when you're starting. Then once you get some money, buy yourself a programmer or hire a programmer in order for you to get a custom themes done. If you're doing t-shirts, there's plenty of people out there for you to model after, right? There's Teespring, there's Viral Style. Those guys have spent probably tens of thousands of dollars split testing, or hundreds of thousands of dollars split testing, to making sure that their traffic is converting well. So having a shirt landing page that looks like that, probably going to be a good idea for you. If you guys are asking about tax and duties are managed if shipping from China, I don't know. I hire people for that. You should do the same. I'm a marketer that owns a Shopify store. Evelyn, that's what I'm doing. Kenneth asks, would you ever mix affiliate offers with your offers in your store? No. Keep yourself focused. Don, save that question for a little bit later. MVP stands for minimal viable product. I'm creating the most minimal viable store possible, getting the traffic running to it, and going from there. That's why I call it the MVP model. Is the audio better? Give me a 2 in the chat box real quick. Thank you. Sorry, I was leaning back a little bit. My trainer kicked my butt this morning, so my back is a little sore. The receipt app that I was talking about, it's in the receipt video, or the app video. Go back and look at the course. Yeah, I do have a recommendation for fulfillment service in the United States. It's in the course, guys. Come on. Randall, there is no free product that you're going to buy. It's a marketing tactic, basically transferring the cost of the item and distributing a little bit of profit for yourself inside the shipping. So what you do is you charge $0 on the front end for the product and then charge higher pricing for shipping that covers the cost of the product that you then go purchase and deliver to your customer. Does that make sense? Janet, go through the course. No, do not ask your customer to return it to the receipt to the customer. I'm sorry, that screwed that up. I had 2 different thoughts in my head. Do not have your supplier ship the receipt to the customer. Carlos asks, isn't the image of a store with only one product too flat in front of a visitor's eyes? May it hurt in conversions in any way? Abso-freaking-lutely not. Guess what we say? I'm all about positioning, right? So when you're selling only one product, and if you go through the course, you'll understand this, that you position yourself as a small business that just opened its doors. We're starting with our one product. As we build our reputation in the market, we will go from there. A high-risk order, Tracy, is it will actually get flagged in Shopify for you. It will say high risk and have a big old exclamation point next to it. Shopify has their reasons for, and their experience with it. So that's what that is. Art asks, how much time should we spend on deciding on a product? Not a lot. I laid out all the barriers for you for deciding how and what to sell. So you just do it. Because guess what? If you spend too much time trying to decide on a product, you're not going to sell a product and you're not going to make any money. Herb, you can do that if you want. Herb says, why should I not use product pages as Boris taught to test products? You can do that, Herb. But guess what? You can do that same thing with Shopify. So if the long game and long-term goal for me is Shopify, I want to use Shopify. Here's another thing. I don't have all of my product page customers in my Shopify store, right? I gather a lot of information in Shopify that I can use for later purposes. David asks, what countries are best to sell to? Would it just be in the United States? The United States is the #1 spot for you to be selling. You can test outside of that later on, but there's 300 million people in this country, and what is it, 150 or 160 above 18, most of which who have a credit card. So you can't really say that in a lot of other countries. Leland, it is in the membership area. How many days does it take Stripe to cash you out? I believe it's like 3 to 4 days. So you sell something today, make some money. In 3 days or 4 days, you'll get paid out. Anton is if he's referring to somebody who has their own credit card processing merchant account set up. If you can hook it into Shopify's system, then go for it, man. Frank, you're gonna have to go through the course, man. That's pretty well answered. Lola, what do you want me to elaborate on? It's a theme that you go and you install. If you know liquid programming, you can do it yourself. Yeah, when the automation. Don asks, is your AI targeting system still relevant and updated for the more in-depth training on targeting with AI? My courses are evolutions on each other. Okay, so AI targeting came out, PyScale came out, and then this came out. We evolve. I don't sell if you know I'm different than some other people out there who just gather information on a current hack or trick and they put a course out. My courses are actually how my business is run, and what we're actually doing right now. So every time I update you on the factors that are important for me to sell, including the AI targeting system. The Audience Insight tool has evolved quite a bit from then to now. Who do you hire? I hire people off of Upwork.com. Brian asked, did you have your attorney write your licensing contract with the brands? Yes. Damn it, I'm a doctor, not a tax man. Yeah, I can't answer any questions on different types of tax questions. I have no idea. That's what apparently my expensive tax people are for. How do I add a tracking number to the receipt, PayPal receipt? Go into your system, look in the order that somebody bought from you, and add the tracking number. PayPal makes it pretty easy for you. Do you market below 24? I do for items that make sense, but usually 18 or 24 they're broke, or they're spending daddy's money or mommy's money. So we don't want to do that too often. Can I sell in the U.S. while living in another country? Absolutely. If you guys know my business partner, Albert, he lives in Indonesia. Can you show how to find some items? Yeah, I'll go ahead. But that is in this course, guys, as well. But we can go over it one more time. All right. That's how you find items. What else would you like to know? Kirtan, have you gone through the course? So and you're still wondering, and I'm just trying to make sure you're still wondering what to search. Okay. So check this out. And I click open this, and I go like this. eBay sort tool. Do you see? I see that? 194, 149, 145, 107. Guess what? If you watch the videos, what was my video about? This guy. Look at this. This guy selling for $14.85. Is it probably a little bit nicer quality? Maybe. You're talking about markup, right? Give me a yes in the chat box if that makes sense. Jennifer, I don't really know how to answer that. I would go with just go to a local attorney and ask them what your question is, what you just asked me, and they will point you in the right direction. I have a family member who is an attorney, so it's really easy for me. Joel asks, are these people probably getting this from AliExpress? More than likely. So yeah, was that the sort tool? Yes, that was. So let's do beer tap handle. Buy it now. Okay, so there's some that are sold. You just hit here, and there you go. Really not that hard. Are they getting it from AliExpress? Quite possible. Now here's the interesting thing, right? Let's do this. Watch count. Nurse necklace. Most watched items, right? Are these lists the same? Let's do a little thing here, and let's do this. They're not the same, are they? How can you test a general product and then quickly change over to your niche? Lots of things have to be changed. I don't get it. So the power of the watch, but this is an easy example. The power of the watch count is just people who are watching it and not necessarily past sales, right? So you can see how past sales has this, then this, then this. It's all over the board. So it doesn't give you relative, I mean, it's cool, I guess, if somebody's watching it, but I'd rather have over here the actual purchases, right? Purchases are where you want to have your money, not just watching. So watching gives you somewhat of a good example. It also strays outside the box a little bit. As you can see that this had the keyword nursing in it. It's not as exact as eBay is. Also, the eBay will pull up more results than this does. Oh, I'm sorry, than this does generally anyway. So that's another thing to be concerned about. Do the China account need to be established before putting up the store? Don't understand what that means, Gary. Sorry. Can you rephrase that? What are examples of retail items you can sell outside of t-shirts? Here, a nurse necklace, anything and everything. You can. That's the power of Shopify, guys, and that's the exciting thing is that you can have, you can sell whatever you want. That's what I want you to do is get out there and be creative. Don't be, don't sell just some trade marked item because that's selling somewhere else. You can really sell whatever you want. Just be unique and just be a little different than everybody else with your positioning and everything like that, and you'll have a good amount of time. Ken, we did start at 5 p.m. It just depends on your 5 p.m. It was a central time, 5 p.m. Bo, you got to give me the full. I don't know what you're asking. What do you think about Shopify Facebook shop? Thanks. I don't think that you should do the Facebook shop. I've never heard of anybody that's doing anything inside of Facebook have any advantage over anybody else. Leland asks, Matt, what is your goal with Shopify for 2016 income? Over $1 million. Do you go how to position your products in the course? Yep. Hello, how many types of items in jewelry, for example, do you recommend start off for a newbie, which can be managed well? Start with one. If you are a newbie, then start with one. Why would you start with several if you were a newbie? Master one before you can master anything else. It'll be really easy for you to do that. Okay? So guys, we're going to have to wrap up here in the next couple of minutes. So I want to make sure that we're answering as much of the specific questions as possible. So in the getting started section, we're going to talk about, let's go actually to the course. Yeah. So in the getting started section, this is where you're going to find that Trackify app. This is going to kind of just talk about the overview. Now I'm actually going to go back over into the fundamental section because this is where a lot of people get caught up. Your niche can be really anything. I want you to focus on using the tactic that I found in here to make sure that you do something that sparks your interest, but something that has a presence on Facebook. You don't have to be passionate about what you're selling in. You just want to run the numbers and show you how I do the numbers to justify going into something. If your goal is to ultimately make money with something you're passionate about, that's fantastic. But I don't recommend that you start there. I want you to get focused on learning how to sell and then actually go into selling something you're passionate about. What do I sell? I talk about something there. There's two business models of profit. There's the free plus shipping and the volume play. So if I make $1 off of every item, but I sell 1 million of them, I still make $1 million, right? Or I can do the higher priced model and the lower volume, understanding that I'm not going to sell as much potentially, and that's the rule, not the exception. I'm not going to sell as much as the other one, as the volume play, is selling tons of items for a little bit of profit, but I still make a good amount of money. Knowing that you're starting, I would go with the volume play. That's why I recommend the free plus shipping offer, because you probably don't have a lot of capital. And if you go to try to sell something that's expensive, like $50, it's going to take potentially you to convert it at $25 to $30, okay? Because that's generally how Facebook, like my goal is to have 100% ROI. Is that always going to be happening or more? 100% ROI or more. Is that always going to be happening? No. So we want to make sure that we are conscious of that fact and that we basically what we do is go after something we know we have enough money to convert it on. So if you have $1,000 in your bank, it's more likely that you could turn some money and some profit with $1,000 with a free plus shipping offer than otherwise. Product selection is just about the numbers as well. Don't get caught up in this thing, guys. Find something on eBay, do a little bit of niche research, find something on eBay that you can sell and sell it. eBay, even using watch count, is a very quick way to find something that sells within your market. If I just type in nurse in eBay, something that sells well is going to pop up, and then you just take that and run with it. The targeting selection, we can go in more into targeting and ads in the next call, which is Tuesday of next week. And that we'll get into like the really meat, because we didn't have a lot of time to go over the shoulder. I had a lot of questions here that I didn't think were going to come up, but that's perfectly fine. I want to make sure that you're all getting money out of this. So listing your product, that's the last video. Just get it up and start running traffic to it, okay? Don't get caught up here. Don't focus on it too much. The domain questions, all these little, the 3% of your business here is not where you want to focus. You're focusing way too much time on there. Just get something up, get going with it, get traffic driven to it. Google the tiny things like how do I get a domain, or how do I get my domain on my Shopify store. These are things that should not hold you up because they're easily accessible in Google. And you can get this, you can keep constant. If you're in the advanced group, that's fine. You can ask it. But at the same time, if you're not, just Google it. Or if you're even in the advanced group, Google something. You'd be surprised how much information is out there, because e-commerce is a massive business. Shopify is a massive company. I think they're in the hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue now. So it's a lot bigger than just the small problems anymore. And the information is really readily available for you. Okay? So in the introduction stage, in the growth stage, these are things that we'll make sure that we'll cover more in the next week. A lot of people have been asking about their $5 testing. I want to be very, very clear about your $5 test. It's not a magic bullet, okay? It's not a magic bullet. Yeah, Shopify help pages. Awesome, Amy. Thank you for that suggestion. It's the $5 test. It's not a magic bullet. It's about taking the success rate up a notch, right? So if my success rate is 50% and I can get it to 75% on my products just by doing a $5 test, I'm throwing those numbers out there. But if I can up the percentage rate of my success by doing a little research, paid traffic wise on the front end, I'm going to do that. And that's going to give you a good idea if it's working or not. If it is working, then we run forward with it. It might fail still, but this is a business, guys. You're going to have to risk money, and you're going to have to spend money to make money. Okay? There's no business in this world that has ever made money without spending money first in the long term, right? And we're paid traffic marketers. People that do it with SEO more than likely got to pay for that SEO to get ranked. Retail stores have to actually build stores, which we don't have to do. But it is possible for you to right now, right here, after you leave this call, to get a site going within a matter of hours and get traffic to it in a matter of hours, right? I wouldn't recommend tomorrow morning. I would start your ads, but you could have a sale tomorrow if you take action. Okay, so get off this call. Get off this call and go take some action. Sign up for your Shopify account if you have not, and make sure that you are moving to the next step. Because if you do not, and you focus on, like Mike, you're asking me about automating the process of populating your stores with products. I hire somebody. It's not, don't overcomplicate the guy's stuff, Make sure that you're staying on track, you're staying on course. Worry about the things down the road. Like adding products to your store is not what you should be worried about right now. Like more than the one product. Like, you might see the success. Like I have tons of products in my store, but I don't build my store out with just random products that may or may not sell. I build my store out with lots of products I know sell because I use them as lead items first. Okay? So that's the important factor I want you to take note of, is that I posted this on if anybody's friends with me on Facebook, I posted this during the launch at some point. But I said, I watched Shark Tank, and they did a recap on a product that was put into Shopify. I'm sorry, not Shopify, Starbucks. So it was like this little bagel thing. And I keep saying Shopify. Starbucks tested this product in a small amount of stores. It sold really well, and then they expanded it to like 4,000 locations. So they tested it, it sold, then they moved it into their space, right? Because they don't have a lot of space, and neither do you. You have endless amounts of space, but you need to understand that your space should be limited. Your space should only be for the sellers. Your space should be only for the things that you know that your niche loves. Not only your niche, but the traffic that you've been sending to your page. because they've only clicked to your website if they had somewhat of an interest in your product. They don't click, nobody clicks to a website they're not interested in. So if you test small, the $5 test, and it goes well, you move that product to the next step, which is selling it as a lead item. We don't have 4,000 locations, but we are paid traffic marketers driving, United States wide traffic into our site. And so if we're targeted, we have, we want to optimize our traffic, and we want to get the most money out of that traffic as possible. Whew. Put the most converting products on the store. Absolutely. Right? John, just close out. Janet, I understand that, but that's not where I'm trying to do. Okay? If you're adding a lot of products, if you have a store with a lot of products on it, that's fine, but you should only be driving traffic to one of them. Okay? So you should drive traffic to one of them to optimize for that item. If you're trying to drive traffic to your catalog page, you're not going to know where it is that people get caught up and don't buy. Okay? Because it's going to be really hard to optimize your store for 30 products that you're not, or X number of products that you're not sure if you sold. If you have tons of products on there right now and you want to scale back, just hide the products in your store and then structure the MVP store and build your way back out. Does that make sense? Bo, how did you get on this call, man? I don't think you bought the course now that I'm seeing, and I have no idea how you got on this call, man. Overall, which fulfillment method do you prefer? Recommend storing the goods in a warehouse? You should never take on inventory, Frank, until you know that you can sell that inventory. Drop shipping is the way to go. Watch the fulfillment video inside the course. All right, Colin, I'm gonna spread that out to everybody. All right, so I am going to have a goal for almost everybody on this call, right? And of those people who make this goal, how about this? Of the people who hit this goal, if somebody comes in here, and you have to be honest with yourself. If you lie to me about this, then that's silly. But if you can make a sale by the next call, I'm going to ask you, and of those people, I'll have like you opt in on something or somewhere I can track you. But I will raffle off $100 to one of the people who get a sale by the next call, by Tuesday. Is that cool? Give me a 1 in the chat box. If you lie, then I won't know, but at the same time, that's not cool. Okay? Yeah, I had to move this call. I have something to do. Here's the discount code again. So if you're going to participate in this contest, sign up, get your store running, go through the course, set up the store. Don't get hung up on the minute details. Guys, you want to know a secret? I sold $100,000 on one of my stores. And until I sold $100,000 on it, I didn't realize that on the checkout screen, it said another logo on the site, not even the right logo. Does it sound like you need to have a perfect store? John, that's fine too. How about this? If you make your first sale, I really want to. Okay, I'll do a first sale, but I'll do. I'll also throw the other people in there who, if you apply this method, this course, and make a sale using something out of this course, if you're already an experienced marketer, I'll throw you in there as well. But you have to be honest with me. Ooh, that's a good one too, Colin. Colin's hooking you guys up. Let me think about that for a second. Okay, the newbies will get the $100 raffle, and in a separate thing, if you're already an experienced marketer, we'll do another $100. Okay? Because I don't want to group the people that are experienced in the place with the the newbie guys. All right, is that fair? Everybody, give me a one. Right, second place because I do have plenty of nurse necklaces in inventory. So, all right. So we got $200 on the line. An important thing to do is apply the techniques that are in this course for both of you. And then on Tuesday, I'll have like a lead page or something like that where you opt into one or another, and that way I have an email address of somebody that did it. If you're in the advanced portion, another way for you to get included is screenshots. I love screenshots of people making revenue too. Big or small, it's awesome, right? So maybe that's what I'll do is I'll do a Dropbox full of screenshots. That way, hey, there we go. That way it's proof. All right, so we're going to do screenshots. We will do a screenshot, and that will be the way that we prove. So I'll have you send it to an email address, and we'll hook that up for the next call. There we go. All right, guys. All right, so that is it for the call, guys. I got to go meet up with some family, and so I hope you enjoyed this call. Lots of questions here I know they needed to get answered, so we try to stick out as much as possible. So we'll push some of the things in the introduction stage into the next call. We'll get all of those answered. We'll make sure that you understand targeting better. We'll make sure that you understand all those different aspects better. Now, this replay will get up into the members area probably late tonight. So that's how this goes. So I have to render it, and I have to make sure that I make it pretty and HD and blah 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 and put it into the members area. If you had fun on the call, give me a 1 in the chat box. All right, $200 on the line. Get to work. Hopefully for some of you, it's not that late. If it's late for you guys, I'm sorry. Wake up the next morning and get to work. $200 on the line. I can't wait to see some newbies get their first sale. If you get hung up on the small things, just push through. Go with gut instinct because testing is going to help you. You need to make the first step, okay? I would make a Shopify store and get running. All right, guys, I got to head out. Appreciate you all. Take care and good Schmidt.